Ah, it is finally a nice day. Yes. After 2 weeks of cold, shitty weather and raining, it is finally summer again. Oh yeah. Right, so I was going to do this last night, but sleep got the better of me. And now I've woken up, MartinJWillett has gone and taken the video that I was going to respond to down. So, I sort of have reservations about this, but I'm gonna go through with making a response anyway because I've already, ripped his video and uploaded it into here and put this much time into trying to get this response up. So, the video has been taken down, let me just preface by saying that. Martin has removed it, so I figure he's maybe come to his senses and realised how stupid it was. So credit to him for that at least, and just in case he hasn't, maybe he took it down because he was pissed off that it got too many thumbs down or for another reason. Let me ask you, Martin, why did you take it down? You can clarify that because I can only guess. I don't know for sure why you did, but I hope it's for the former reason I gave, and that it's because you came to your senses. And I've checked your forum, couldn't find anything. So let me also say that I like MartinJWillett much more than the people in the circles that I hang out with. I don't think he's a racist. He's proud of British heritage. He's kind of a nationalist somewhat, and you could even say he's a bit of a dickhead when it comes to telling other people that they should include themselves in British culture and not dress a certain way. You can have that on him, but to say he's racist, and yes, he calls himself a race realist, he maintains that there should be some differences and some different temperaments between races. However, while he does have these views, he's never ever said that someone of another race should be treated differently or worse. And he's banned, blocked, removed EDL, BNP comments. So, yeah. But, however, well, I do like him more than the crowd I hang out with. When I see videos like what he put up last night, I must say I really am inclined to refer to him as MartinJWillett.
Whoever you are, one thing is sure, you come from an unbroken chain of breeders. For hundreds of millions of years, your ancestors had sought the best available mates and had risked everything in order to breed, mostly without understanding or needing an explanation as to why.
Yes, well, I think it's better now that we can assess and question why we'd want to have kids, and we can evaluate the risks involved, and we can look at the ethics of imposing life onto other people who may not necessarily enjoy it or want to be here.
Not a single one of them, male or female, eluded the biological imperative.
Imperative? No. Inclination? Instinct? But certainly it's not an imperative. And that wasn't just a slip up on your part, because you go on to say this.
To go forth and multiply, or, before the invention of sex, at least divide and thrive. Now, you can't be bothered. It doesn't suit your lifestyle plans. You are pissing in the face of your parents and all your ancestors.
What the hell? You patronising prick. We didn't ask our parents or ancestors to be here. We don't owe them shit. You could just as easily say that our ancestors and our parents pissed in our faces when they decided on our behalf to force us to live.
If you have no investment in the future, you should have the decency not to tell the rest of us what to do. Those of us who are making plans for the future and the world in which you will grow old have no need of your advice. If you are getting off at the next stop, then you should have no say in the planned route.
Okay, so I've only really taken a few snippets of your video, but that last point is sufficient because that's what your whole video was predicated on, was that if you're not having children, as you put it, not putting an investment into the future, you should just shut up. I would just like to say that there are other ways of investing in the future than through a bloodline of offspring. you can very well be attached to people of the future without being related to them. There are social workers, teachers, raising the children of tomorrow, and these people will care for these people, those children. So I think it's very reasonable for them to make suggestions on how the future can be, even if they're not having children themselves. Like I said, a bloodline of offspring is not the only way you can be attached and the means of investing. Like I said, the aforementioned social workers and teachers, they are investing in the future. No, they haven't had children themselves, but they are making a contribution where they're raising the children, the people of tomorrow, and that's an investment. And so I think that was very rude of you to so pompously just dismiss their opinions and how the future should be, just on the basis of whether they have children or not. So I am all for a more sustainable future, less gains, and moderation, because I can really testify to this as someone who did sort of get raised in luxury. Material gains do nothing. You get a temporary boost of happiness and it drops right back down to complacency. And then it's an addiction because you're always going to be wanting to acquire new things. I think it's much better to try and acquire friendship, camaraderie, and play creative games and do creative things together. You know, doing something creative in the park is probably a better and more fulfilling thing for you than playing a video game online. And if you think this is a bad idea or that the future should not be this way, please tell me why, and don't just dismiss my opinion as having no worth because I'm not having children. That criteria of saying whether or not you should have a say in the future is shit. I'm sure there are people out there with great ideas for the future who aren't having children themselves, and we should be listening to them on how we can implement these changes into sustainability and reducing our intake. Not to mention renewables. I mean, all these people with good ideas should definitely be listened to, whether they have children or not. So that's pretty much my point. Perhaps you've already realised this though, because as I mentioned, you did take the video down. So I'd like to request a follow-up. What's the deal? Yes, and I do hope that follow-up will in fact be a retraction of your daft statement and sentiment that you put out in this child-free video. Right, I'm gonna go to school. Peace and love.